Our story starts in a coastal port town by the name of Norcliffe. It is icy and it is cold, and it is a very harsh town. The people there are decent people from an outsider perspective, but the longer you live there, the more you notice things aren't as great as they could be. And so the story starts with a small pink tiefling at a monastery on the upper cliffs of Norcliffe. Very much cliffy. And so, this small tiefling's name is Raz. Raz is a 14-year-old. They're small and they've been here ever since they had to leave their home. All of their parents are dead, so they took shelter here at this monastery. While outside the monastery one day, just doing chores, sweeping with maybe a broom. Who knows? It could be a rake. Either one's fine. They notice somebody leaving from the monastery with a chest. See, normally they wouldn't have paid attention to this, but they recognize that symbol. They know that symbol. And so they decide to follow them at a distance until we get to the port, the west side port, with two very large ships. One much bigger than the other one. One is called the Sanctuary, and one is called the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought is the smaller one, and yes, I know that contradicts the name Dreadnought, but bear with me now. They see the guy with the chest, who is a muscular, armored dragonborn. He has dark blue scales and glowing yellow eyes, and he's carrying two short swords on his person. He's carrying this huge chest. It's not massive, but it's a good armful of the chest. And he carries it up to the sanctuary, onto the deck, and disappears. So Raz decides to sneak onto the ship by going in through the side into the small port. And now Raz is on the ship. And we can get to the role-playing aspect of that when that player character is here. So now they're on the ship. That's basically the idea of how they get on the ship in the first place. So now we cut to Lexi's character. Lexi, what's your character's name?
Puddle.
Right, Puddle Stormwind.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Puddle Stormwind.
Puddle Stormwind is currently on the Dreadnought, a pirate ship on the west side port. Turns out that boat that Raz went onto was a pirate ship. You are in port because pirates are selling things on the black market. You are a renowned fisherman and overall pretty good at boats and sea stuff. And so you are helping them unload things and so they can sell them on the market. This is a very shady, the west side port is a very shady, very rundown part of Norcliffe that gets very little attention from the militia, if none at all, to an extent. Because it's so crime-ridden, the militia doesn't even care anymore, about the people who live there and basic petty crimes. Lexi's character, Puddle, is unloading large crates. Not huge, good enough for their size. How big are you?
Hold on.
How old is Puddle?
Puddle is like 22.
22? So average 22-year-old size?
Yeah, but she's petite though. She's like a small person.
Okay, so a petite-sized young adult, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Puddle is helping unload things, mostly like supplies, stolen food stuff, things that you've caught. And the SS Sanctuary, a member comes over from there. He is very tall. He's around 6'3" and appears to be human, except for the one horn protruding out of the left side of his head, which is very straight and narrow and points straight upwards. And it is a very pale red. Where another horn would be on the other side, there's nothing. It's just blank. And his eyes are very strange. They're a lot darker than most people's eyes would be. They're not terribly dark, but it's almost as if there isn't an iris at all. So this man walks over. He's got graying hair and long, very long, or I don't want to say ornate, but very scholarly, up-class citizen robes. And he walks over with a very stiff manner, with hands behind his back and a scowl upon his face. And he comes up to one of the commanding officers on your ship, and he starts conversing with them. He's like, I represent I represent the sanctuary, and our interests seem to have aligned for once. I've heard that you've procured some interesting items. I'm here to buy. So, your captain comes down off the ship, Captain Dreadnought, because he is a vain person who named his ship after himself. But actually, secretly, no one knows this, he named himself after the ship. But everyone who would know that is actually dead, so it doesn't matter. Dead men tell no tales. So, he comes down and goes, well, well, well. I know exactly what you want. I know what you're looking for. And it's gonna cost you a lot. Fine by me. Money isn't an issue. It never has been. What an issue is whether or not you're actually going to give me what I want. Oh, I'll give you what you want. No doubt about that. You'll get exactly what you need. So the crew members go off, and you are actually directed to take this somewhat small box with another guy. These two. So there's the very average-looking human. He's about 6 foot, beefy, stocky, tattoos all down his arms, and he is bald and a lot of piercings. A random pirate guy. I don't know. Blaine. Let's call him Blaine. So you and Blaine take this chest because you're being escorted. You look the least intimidating, so hopefully this makes them believe that everything's going well. And you go over to the Essex Sanctuary, right? So you go up the sanctuary, and then we're going to cut to a different character. All right, this is just setting up timeline right now is what I'm trying to do, so that way you guys can know what to do. So now we're going to cut over to Hayden's character. What's your character's name?
Colmus Brutat.
You say that a little louder in your normal voice.
Colmus Brutat.
Colmus Brutath. Cool. So Colmus Brutath is a fish person.
Yes.
That has what
Triton.
type? A what?
A Triton.
Yeah, he's a Triton. He's actually a prince who is in hiding from his kingdom
Yes.
for reasons that you will all learn later in the campaign. And so all you need to know at this moment is that he is staying in Norcliffe as sort of a political refugee, if that makes sense. He and his mother have taken sanctuary here because the mayor, Mayor Longsworth, is very rotund, very cherry-like man with a big red nose and a very puffy mustache and no hair on top of his head. And he seems like a very sweet individual. Keyword on seems. So far, no, he's fine. So far, everything has been going great for you and your mom. As great as it could be being, kicked out of your kingdom and all that jazz. So, you've been staying at his guest house for a while now. It is not anywhere near the Lord's Manor. It's a smaller house that he used to own downtown that he gave to you and your mother out of goodwill. Like, welcome to the town. So you've been helping him with his estates and stuff like that, just being a general assistant. You know a lot about the sea and just being in charge because you were born and raised to be a prince. You are a prince. Well, not at the moment, but you were a prince. And so you were walking from your mother's house. You go, bye mom, I'm gonna go help the mayor with some paperwork. Love you, kiss on the cheek, slap on the butt. You walk out the door, and you're walking down through the street. You see shops and people and you wave. Most people know you because a Triton is a very unusual sight in this town. This is a very undiverse neighborhood, I would like to say, being in the upper areas of this town. Because, it's the mayor. Of course he'd give his guests some nice lodgings. You're walking through the streets in the city, and you happen to pass by fairly near to the West Port. The Western Port, that's what I called it, right? So you're walking, and you notice something shady. This area has always been shady, but you notice something a lot shadier than normal, being 2 massive ships. And you recognize one of them. You recognize one of these ships. It's the Dreadnought. You know this ship. This is not a good ship. This is a pirate ship. And this ship has raided your kingdom before, or attempted to.
Yes.
This ship has been has been the single contributor to the black market and the scum surrounding your city. Who do you think supplied your uncle with the weapons he needed?
I have no clue what you said since you walked in.
Oh, at what point did you stop hearing?
I stopped hearing something about him being a prince, and then you recognize the ship. You know the ship. It's a bad ship.
It's the Dreadnought. You recognize this ship from you went that night, the night when everything went wrong. You know what this ship did. And you see the guy who runs the ship. The sight of this ship makes your blood boil.
Yes.
You do not like this boat. You do not like the fact that this boat is in the city that you are now living in. First, your old home, and now your new home. And so you're already on the way to the mayor's house. Instead of walking there leisurely, you pick up the fucking pace. I wouldn't say you're sprinting, but you are sprinting. So you are at a mad dash for the mayor's office, because next to the mayor's office is another building, a rather large building, a rather defensive building, which is the main office of the Norcliffe Port Militia. And then we're gonna cut to Hunter, his character. So Hunter, are you still there?
Yep.
All right, cool. So Hunter, your character's name is Raina Stonebreaker, right?
Correct.
She's a human. She is a... What was her position in the militia again?
She's an officer.
So we cut to the Norcliffe Port Militia main office building. It's more of like a barracks mixed with the main office. So they're sort of the police of this town. Not so much government police, but more like it's a paid militia by the mayor. The mayor is in charge of them. There's no other, it's not political, it's money. They protect the town. This is a very wealthy port town. And so Hunter, you are having a normal day in the barracks. You know, you're in the office, you're doing some work, you're doing some paperwork about recent crimes and the different imports coming in from the ports. You know, it's not glamorous, but you know, it's work and it helps the city. So anyway, you're at the office and you're doing basic paperwork about imports and different problems you've had with merchants and different, you know, just basic law, duty things. It's boring, but you know, it's part of your job. You can't go out fighting bad guys every day.
Correct.
And so, you know, Captain Nicholas Merrick, your commanding officer, the head of the Norcliffe Port Militia, comes in and, you know, he's having a good conversation with you. It's like, Stonebreaker, how have you been? Paper pushing, huh? Fun times.
Well, it's part of the job.
Yes, it is. And what a glorious job it is in the day-to-day life of the Norcliffe Port Militia.
Couldn't think of anything better.
So this militia is pretty great, and you, Raina, look up to Nicholas a lot. Captain Merrick is kind of your role model in all things. He's an upstanding, lawful, respectful citizen who protects the entire town. Right up your alley, in all honesty. It's like,
Yes.
right up your ass. I didn't say that. What, you
I
thought I was going to say
thought that's
that?
what you were going to say.
Why?
I don't know, you're just like...
Yeah.
What? That doesn't make any sense. Never mind. Okay. And so, you know, he's been a role model for a really long time for you, and you one day aspire to be a great captain like he is. You've been in the militia for a couple of years. This is, you know, you trained and grew up to be in the militia. You've been in Norcliffe your entire life. This is your home. And so,
It is.
yeah, it is. And so you're just having a boring day, talking with your other, you know, associates and Captain Merrick, and suddenly the doors burst open, the front doors. And in comes a soaked, sweating Triton.
Wet boy.
And you know this Triton, because you're the one who arrested him when he first came into the city illegally. It's, what's your name? You're the only name I can't remember.
It's Colness.
Colness. It's Colness Brutath, the Triton Prince refugee who came into the city with his mother that is under the protection of the mayor. He comes in bursting through the door, and he's panting, and he can hardly get any words out.
There was Dreadnought, a ship that raided my city and provided them with the tools they needed to overtake my father.
Calm down, Brotath. Which port are they at?
They're over by the Westport.
Hunter, your character knows that the Westport is the dingiest part of the town.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
No one hardly ever goes there. The police, you as a lawful, upstanding police member or militia member, you have patrolled there a couple of times. But honestly, Captain Merrick doesn't really let you guys go down there as often anymore. He doesn't really tend to patrol that area of the city. And you've always kind of wondered why, but you've never really you've always been like, well, he must know best because Captain Merrick must know what he's doing. And so now you have somebody who is an esteemed guest of the mayor telling you that some illegal dealings are going down at the port.
Then I'll report this finding to the captain immediately.
Or pointing to the captain immediately. All right, so what do you do? Let's roleplay this.
I go to Captain Mallet's office.
Merrick.
Or Merrick.
Yeah.
And I come in and say, the Triton Prince Brutat has said a notorious black market ship has come to the Westport. We need to get some officers there immediately.
Why? That sounds deplorable. We can't have any illegal dealings in our city, the great city of Norcliffe.
Exactly.
All right, I'm coming with you. We're sending Platoon A, you and me, and we're going down there right now. We're going to go investigate this. And are you
What
going
should
to
I
go?
tell Brutat?
Tell him that we'll investigate it immediately.
Well, all right.
So, everyone in the barrack is starting to get their stuff ready. Platoon A is getting all of their gear together. Not a lot, but, enough just to deal with basic, black market things. Honestly, one of the biggest offenses in Norcliffe is illegal dealing. This is a port city. A lot of its money is made off of imports. And so having stuff like that really does cut into the bottom line. And that's not okay, not for the mayor. So I'm assuming Hunter's character tells you that they're going to investigate it. Are you going to go with them?
I think Colness would not necessarily go with, but follow the ways behind to make sure what he feels needs to be done.
Because this is the Dreadnought, isn't it?
Yes.
You know this boat.
I don't. It's a bad boat.
Yeah, okay. So, at this point, Drew's character, just to make sure, Raz, the tiefling, is on the top deck of this boat. They have come through the storage area, and now they're on the top deck of this boat hiding. So, just to put a perspective on where they are. So, now we're going to cut back to Lexi's character. Lexi, your character and Blaine are now on top of the ship discussing dealings with this tall, skinny gentleman.
The good ship, right? The other ship?
The Sanctuary. You are on the Sanctuary. You followed this tall human with a horn, half tiefling, onto the boat with Blaine. And he's like, his name is Wilford Abernathy. And he introduces himself and he's like, yes, I am Wilford Abernathy. That is absolutely my name. Do you have what I asked for?
I don't know what you asked for, sir.
You're holding it in your hands. It's a chest. Lexi, I told you that you were carrying a chest onto the boat.
Right, I didn't know what was in the chest.
You don't get to know what's in the chest as a character.
Sure.
But you know that this is what the chest they want is.
Okay.
So,
Yes,
okay.
I have what you asked for.
All right, excellent. And so he's like, well, are you going to give it to me?
Sure. I believe there was a business deal made. Are you gonna give up payment?
Yeah, of course I am.
Money first.
All right, fine. You set the chest on the ground, and I'll set the bag of money on the ground, and then we can walk around and we'll grab them at the same time. Does that seem fair?
Sure.
Great. I absolutely appreciate your discretion on the matter. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This man is having the most sarcastic ass look on his face right now. He is just grinning like, oh yes, so happy that this is going well. This is a great day. He's not actually saying that, but that's his attitude. So you both sit down. You see this large bag. It clinks to the ground. It's a fairly good size. You can tell that there's maybe a couple hundred gold in here. And then you set the chest on the ground.
I will settle.
Roof.
Rocky, shut up!
That sounded so TV show like. Rocky, shut up! Anyway, so he sets his stuff on the ground. And you guys walk around. Blaine walks over to grab the chest, to grab the money, and Wilfred walks over to grab what he wants, the chest with the strange, like blue symbol on the side of it. When suddenly you hear shouting from the port, from on the actual port, off the boats, and you not being like picking anything up, go over and look over the side. You want to know what you see? Yes, yes, of course. No. You see the Northcliffe Port Militia and its captain running into the port, yelling, "Stop! In the name of the law! I am Captain Merrick, and you are going to jail!" And he is yelling at all of these pirates, and everybody in the port just freezes. So there's this like small platoon of about, I want to say about 11 people. So it's a platoon of 10, because it's your platoon, Hunter. You're the officer of this group.
Yes, I am.
Merrick decides that he's going to go with you. So you guys go here. And so Lexi, you see these people running. Every pirate, every person in this port, pirate or not, just kind of freezes and is like, what? And then they realize, oh shit, that sucks. And so the group that is guarding your boat, the Dreadnought, rush forward. Half of them start as many as they can start loading shit on top of their boat. They are putting stuff that they unloaded back on it. A good chunk of them are going to head towards your militia, Hunter. They're going to fight you. You are following from a distance. You see this happening. And a fight breaks out. William Abernathy on this boat scoops up the chest and makes a dash for it into the lower decks of the SS Sanctuary. Blaine, seeing this happen, tries to stop him, but is stopped by, the rest of the people on the SS Sanctuary. A very slender tabaxi with very tawny, speckled fur and very narrow eyes and a missing ear, trips Blaine, and Blaine falls flat on his face. William Abernathy takes this chest and he goes straight down to the bottom of the deck. He is gone. That door is shut and locked again. And that bag of gold spills all over the floor the second that Blaine trips. So, Hunter, can you hear us?
Yes.
I would like you to roll for initiative.
Good luck, Hunter.
All right. Okay, off to a great start. 6.
Oh no.
Oh, good. I'm only going to make you fight 1 or 2 pirates, so it's not too big of a deal. 7 and 10. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
So, Thug 1, you see this average-looking pirate come towards you with the hat and the clothes and the tattoos and yada, yada, yada. They look very basic pirate bitch. This pirate is human, and they rush towards you and they try to strike you with their sword. Let's see if it hits. What? 13.
That does not make it.
So he rushes towards you, and he strikes down at you, and you take, what weapon do you have?
I would be using my rapier right now.
Okay, and you block. You take your sword and you parry away his attack. It's absolute, as if it's nothing. You've dealt with worse people than this group of pirates before. They're amateurs. You're very confident in that you're going to be able to beat them. And the second one, right behind the first one, comes rushing at you and misses as well and swipes as you parry. So you dodge out of the way of the second attack, and then now it's your turn.
I am going to try and strike the first pirate.
Okay.
Does a 14 make it?
Yes.
Alright. Wait. Does a 13 make it?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Look at the wrong number.
Oh, wait, correct.
So, after I dodge out of the way, I'm going to ready back into a stance and thrust into the pirate.
Okay. You hit. You already rolled.
I know.
What? He.
Oh yeah, shoot, the
How much-
damage.
How much damage do you do?
I forgot about the damage.
I know.
Now it's only role playing.
Understandable.
Hunter's like opening up the dice bag. It's like, you got it.
7 damage.
Ooh.
Nice job.
Wait, no, 6 damage.
6 or 7 damage, Hunter.
This is 6.
6 damage.
6. Okay, yours.
Yeah. Okay.
No, 7.
You come down and you stab him in the gut. He's not dead, but you've definitely wounded him. And so the other one.
I didn't try. I tried to do it non-lethally.
Okay, good. So you're not trying to kill these guys.
No.
So you puncture him in the side, like you graze
Yes,
him.
like the side.
It's enough that it's
No
like
vital organs.
yes, I know. So you get him in the side of the chest, like the tickle spot, the tase spot, and you slice off a good portion of that just to like wound him, to stop him from coming at you. Very non-lethal. And he staggers back and screams, enraged, and blindly runs at you. And he... 14?
That wasn't fair.
Nope.
And he rushes at you in a blind rage, and he takes his sword, and he swipes at you, and you easily duck. You easily just dodge out of the way of this attack. This man is sloppy. He is...
Fuck you.
And he is still enraged. And the second one, who you haven't hit yet, who dodged out of the way, is able to like rear around, and he tries to hit you as well. And he also misses. And he swipes, and you dodge him as well, and you trip him. Like, you know, he's not on the ground prone, but you know, you're tripping. You are kicking these two asses. So it's your turn.
You know, I would expect more from an egregious ship like this.
All right, so it's your turn.
My turn?
Yes.
Alright. I'm going to try and get the second pirate.
Okay.
That is a critical fail.
Oh, red.
So the pirate that you tripped is now on the ground, and so while you're fighting off the other one, who you just stabbed in the side and dodged out of the way, you kicked this guy onto the ground. This guy grabs your boot and pulls, and he knocks you down onto the ground and flattens you. So you are now prone. You've been knocked down by this man. So that's what your critical fail is going to be. You're not going to take damage, but you've been pulled down. And so the one that you stabbed, now, seeing his advantage, tries to strike down at you. 15?
Nope.
And so he goes to strike down at you, stab at the ground, and you roll out of the way in time. And so the second one who pulled you down tries to grapple with you on the ground and strangle you. And that's a critical fail. So your muscular, girthy, and just overall physique, this dude's hands cannot even begin to try to strangle your neck. Sorry, pirate.
I
And-
punch him in the face.
Yeah, okay.
As a free action.
So you punch him in the face. So roll a d4.
Alright. I wasn't even... I didn't care about damage.
Just roll a d4.
4 damage.
Nice.
Is that a piece of popcorn?
So you've dazed this guy. Now it's your turn.
Alright, it's my turn again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand out.
Okay. Remember, the pirate is still on top of you.
Yeah, I assumed that when I punched him, I kind of got him off.
Yeah, okay. So you punch him off of you.
And I get up, kind of brush off my shoulder, theatrically.
Yeah, you punch this pirate off of you, and you stand up and you brush off your shoulders.
Yep.
Are you going to attack
And
him?
does a 16 hit?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Which one are you attacking?
So the one that I just punched off of me.
Okay.
So, after I get up, I grab my rapier from the ground, which I assumed I dropped,
Sure.
and I thrust at him on the ground.
How much damage do you do?
That's 9 damage.
Wow. So you get him in the shoulder, non-lethally, of
Yes.
course. But this is a pretty deep wound. It's not debilitating, but boy does he scream, because you stabbed him into the shoulder of his joint. And so the other one that you stabbed first, Pirate 1, seeing you attack his friend and basically getting the best of these two, is just pissed out of his mind. And so, all right, so this dude is going to hit you with a special attack.
Ooh,
19.
that hits.
I hoped it did, because otherwise we might need to have a talk about our armor class. Anyway, so he takes his sword, and he sees what you've done to his friend stabbing down, and he rushes you from behind, because you've turned around to stab his friend on the ground. He rushes you from behind, and he takes his sword, and he slashes at your back twice. 9 damage.
Owie.
So he comes at you from in a blind rage, and he's screaming, and you notice him, but it's too late, because as you try to parry him, he just, through brute force, knocks through your hand and into your side, and he slashes you in the side, and he comes back and he slashes you again in the side. And so now you're bleeding heavily from your right side. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So this guy slashes you in the back, and you take hold of your wound and you just sigh, like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of those days. So then the one that you stabbed on the ground jumps up and attempts to grapple you. I need you to make a strength check. He's going to have an advantage on this, though, because of a special ability that these pirates have.
Okay. Would it be a strength saving throw?
Yeah, roll a d20 and add your strength modifier to it.
No, I have a
Or is this,
proficiency in strength.
would it be a saving throw? It's a strength contest, right?
Yeah, it'd just be a straight strength check.
Yeah, it's just a strength test. You guys are
okay.
strength against strength.
That's a 16.
Okay. Okay, 17. So
Shit.
he catches you by surprise. You just got slashed and you go, okay. And then this pirate, he's not small, but to you he's small. He jumps up and he wraps his arms around your neck, and he basically is trying to like pull you to the ground. He's caught you off guard because he was currently not attacking you. Your attention is divided. And he pulls you to the ground, and you are now grappled to the ground. What do you do? You can use your turn to try to get out of it.
I'm going to try and get out of it.
Okay, roll I guess this will be a strength save, right? Roll a strength save.
Okay. 12. Oh wait, no, it's plus 9. It's a 9. Okay.
So you rolled a 9.
So I got a 15.
A 15. Okay, yes. This guy pulls you to the ground, and he's pulling on you, and he's going to grapple you to the ground. And as you're going down to the ground, you use that momentum, and you twist your body so he's on your back, facing the ground, and you use all your force to slam him into the ground, full body, all weight, all the strength you can muster to slam this pirate into the ground, with you on top of him. And he's going to take. I'm going to roll a d6 on this one. 13 damage, because you just broke his rib cage.
Oh. I mean, yeah, Reyna was all that weight. She's pure muscle.
I know, I saw the drawings. No one has a buzz cut like that and muscles like that without being just rip as hell. Like, I'm just saying. Okay, whatever, we're getting distracted. I'm getting distracted. Okay, so this pirate, you pretty much just like slammed him into the ground. There are cracks in the pavement. Not huge ones, but there are cracks in the pavement. This guy, as you slam him into the ground, he goes,
That was beautiful.
and you feel a crunch as you do this. His ribs are most definitely broken, if not all of them. They're bruised and broken. And this guy, he is going to have a really hard time getting up. And so next in the turn is the one who was able to slash you in the back. He sees what you just fucking did to his friend, and he's just like, what the fuck is up with this lady? He yells at you as a reaction, and he goes, lady, what's your problem? And he comes at you again with his sword.
I fight for justice. And you are not.
He
You
rolls
are
a
heathens.
nat 1.
I am protecting the city.
Nice. He rolls a nat 1.
Man, that
And
gun
s-
became too strong for me.
He runs at you to slash at you, and he's like bull charging you. You sidestep him at the last second, and he runs and he trips over the guy that you slammed into the ground and falls on his face and takes 1 damage. He takes 1 damage because he lands on his nose pretty hard.
Wow. Is this amateur hour or what?
Lady, I'm getting real sick of your attitude. And the guy from the crowd goes, yeah, me too.
Well, you better get used to it.
And so the guy in the crater staggers up, and this guy's in pretty bad shape. If I could say bloodied, he's bloodied without any blood, except for there are bruises popping up all over his chest. These pirates are bare-chested, vest, waha, tattooed pirates. This guy is turning fucking purple.
Oh my god.
I know you were trying to do this non-lethally, but I think when he
I mean, it's not lethal,
yeah, I know.
but very much painful.
So when he had grappled you, I think it surprised you that he was able to overcome your strength, and so you slammed him into the ground a little harder than normal. So I think this guy is he's not going good. This is not something he's going to recover from easily. And he stands up and he goes, "All right, bitch, that's it." And he pulls out a small crossbow, like a hand-sized one. And you kind of, you laugh. This is a very small crossbow. You're like, all right, what the fuck are you going to be able to do with that? And he aims at you and he shoots you. 9.
That does not make it.
Okay, he shoots and it whizzes by your head. And so he reloads and he's going to shoot again because I get to have special abilities with these guys that are really fun. And also I'm trying to make this fight a little more interesting too. Because this guy's about to... Yeah, this guy's on his last legs anyway. So this is this is a second win situation. And he a 10.
No.
So he shoots and then he shoots you again, and they both whiz by your head. The second one a little bit closer than you would have liked, but not anywhere near a problem. And so he's just sitting there wheezing. He shoots at you, and now it's your turn.
All right. What is the other pirate doing?
He tripped, remember? He's flat on his face,
yes,
and he's currently
yes.
pushing himself up while the other guy was shooting at you.
Oh, let's see. So, I rolled high enough, by the way.
What'd you roll?
I got a 16 plus 5.
Yeah, you rolled high enough. Okay.
I'm gonna say that with my rapier, I basically, thrust into his hands and tried to knock down his crossbow, hurting his hands at the same time.
Okay. So you rush, he's a couple feet from you, but he's not too far, because this is where you body slam him.
Yeah.
You run over, and you thrust at his hands where the crossbow is, and you stab him in the fleshy part of his wrist. And he drops the crossbow and screams. How much damage?
Oh, I gotta see. 11.
Alright, so you stab him in the fleshy part of the palm, and he screams. This guy already had his rib cage cut off, and now you basically just, eviscerated his wrists with this stab. Not enough to, make him bleed out, but, goddamn did that hurt. And he collapses on the ground, screaming, and then he passes out from the pain. He was on his last legs. This was all adrenaline, and that definitely did last him, and so he's unconscious now, and he's out of the fight.
I'm gonna use my reaction to try to catch him as he falls, to make the fall less drastic.
Okay, roll, I guess,
Dex.
Dex?
Yeah. Oh, heck yes. Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. Okay, so you stab him, and as you stab him and he screams, and he basically passes out within a couple seconds of that, he's going to the ground. You catch him with one hand and set him down while facing against the other pirate. So you don't even look. You just catch him and catch him and set him down and go back to fighting with your,
Uh-huh.
And so now this second pirate, seeing what you just fucking did, is he's beyond mad. He lost his shit a long time ago. The shit has been lost. There are no fucks left to give. This man he's not on his last legs. He's doing pretty well, but he just saw what you did to his friend. You basically just completely, this friend, he's never going to be the same again. That was his favorite hand. That was his favorite rib cage, and you fucked it up.
What's he doing with that hand?
Yeah.
Favorite rib cage.
And so
His wrists seem very strong.
he just bellows in
Oh,
rage
so
again.
yeah.
He is absolutely screaming, and he takes his weapon, a weapon that you didn't see before. The first time he had a sword. This one is large and iron and spiked and is a mace. And you're like, it's a mace. Okay, whatever. Maybe it's not so much of a...
Would you pull that out of your ass?
It's like, I got it off of my hip, bitch, and now I'm about to carve it in your skull. And so he...
Yeah. I'd like to see you try.
Okay, 17.
Shit. That hits.
So you go, I'd like to see you fucking try, and he charges at you, and he takes this, and he slams it into the side of your chest.
Owie.
Okay, let's see, what was this? Okay, 4 damage,
Oh, okay, that ain't bad.
and you feel... Sorry. And you feel something, where it hits you, it digs into your side, and it doesn't do enough. The hit isn't what does so much damage. Your armor absorbs a good chunk of that would have hurt. It feels some bruising, but you feel a shock and a sharp shooting pain go up from that side of your body all the way to this associative arm. So your right arm is now, you can't move it. It's tingling in pain, and your right arm is now paralyzed.
That's unlucky.
What the hell is that?
It's like, payback, that's what it is. All right, now it's your turn.
I'm guessing with disadvantage.
Yeah, because unless your character's ambidextrous or left-handed, I'm going to say that this is, yeah, you're going to have to use your left hand. You can't use your right hand. So when this happens and it shoots up your arm and you can't move your arm, you drop your rapier on the ground. And so now it's your turn. Your rapier's on the ground. You can't move your right arm. Your right side is just like paralyzed and in throbbing pain. And this guy is right next to you. He is in your face. What are you going to do?
Quickly, I unsheath the dagger at my side. I've got a whole arsenal.
Yeah. You're a fighter,
Alright,
right?
that's definitely gonna hit.
What's your class again?
Fighter.
Okay, cool.
So I unsheath this dagger, and I stab him in the side of the other gut. You know, like the other side.
Okay, so you stab him in the right side with your left hand because he's facing you. So you stab him to the side from the last time, other than last time, and you like it's pretty deep, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not puncturing any organs, but like you're like stabbing it in his side. What's your damage?
That is 7.
I
Okay.
can see that damage.
He kind of like was in like pain because you just stabbed him in the side, but he's gonna push through it. This guy is running on adrenaline and rage right now, and so after you stab him, he's going to try to take the mace and hit you in the other side. After you stab him, he's going to grab the mace and he's going to try to hit you. Actually, he's going to try to hit you in the head. 15.
Oh, that does not make it.
Oh, was that a sigh of relief?
Yes.
The paralyzing mace. So he swings at your head, and you crouch down underneath the swipe. And do you want to? So it's your turn now.
Okay. Is he out of hit points?
Out of hit points?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's raring to go. Like he's not
Okay,
as good
okay.
as he was, but he's still got fight in him. Like I'd say a good half left of his. Hit
I was
points.
just wondering what you were gonna ask.
No, I was like, I don't know what your reactions are, but you could take a reaction after he misses and shove him.
Oh, okay. After he misses, I use my reaction to kick him in the shin.
Okay, so you crouch down after he swings and misses your head, and you basically do like the leg swipey thing, right?
Yeah.
The cool movie like, whoosh, and you swipe him off his feet, and he
Yeah,
falls
like
down.
I as I'm bending down, I do the leg sweep.
Okay, so you knock him onto his back, and the mace clatters out of his hand. Do you still have the dagger, or did you let go and let the dagger stay in his side?
I left it in.
Okay, so the dagger, he falls to the ground after you swiped it out, lets go of the mace. The dagger's still in his side, bleeding onto the ground. And now, are you going to attack him?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, while all of this is happening, Captain Merrick and the rest of your platoon are fighting off other pirates. Merrick, you can hear in the background
see.
going. You can hear Merrick in the background going, "Ha ha ha! Good show, Stonebreaker." Is that the one?
Yes.
Good show, Stonebreaker. I didn't know you had it in ya. Ha ha ha! Come at me.
I've always got it in me, Merrick.
there's like screaming coming from pirates. Merrick takes two pirates and he smashes their heads together, and like people are and he's just going, ha! Okay, so you are going to you swoop this guy. He's on the ground. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to pick my rapier back up and try and stab down into his shoulder.
Okay, roll the hit.
Shit. Does a 9 hit?
No.
Okay.
It does not hit. So he's on the ground. The mace clatters out of his hand. The knife's still on his side. And you hear Merrick laughing, and you answer back to you. I always do, Merrick. And then you stab down at the ground. And this guy takes his hand and he pushes it in the way of it, and he grabs your rapier. You stab him through the middle of his hand, but he does not give a shit. He takes 1 damage, but you don't miss. You go through his hand and he stops you before you can even get to him. And he takes your rapier and he twists, and I want you to make a contesting strength check. He's going to try to rip it out of your hands.
Also, Hunter, if you need health, you can heal 1d10 plus your level as a bonus action for fighter.
I know, I got second one.
Okay.
Okay.
I got plenty of health. 12. God, I'm not getting high on these.
You're buff, but I think like right now what's happening is that these guys keep surprising you in ways you weren't expecting.
Yeah, they keep surprising me.
They're fighting dirty.
Like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, you're fighting dirty right now. No, you're not fighting dirty. They're fighting dirty, and you're not used to that. You're used to training with like soldiers and like knights and fighting scum that doesn't know what can't even put up a fight in the first place. But these guys,
basically, my justification for this is that even though she's been in the militia for a couple of years, she's still like, she's not a rookie, but she's kind of like still has a lot of experience to get.
She's not experienced with fighting these kinds of people.
Yes, she's not.
She's used to like shoplifters, pickpocketers, and basic murderers. Not
she
pirates.
Doesn't have to fight much, but she trains a lot.
Yeah, and so this move distracts you, and so he takes his hand and you stab this rapier into his hand, and the tip goes out the back, and he closes his hand around it and twists and yanks it out of your hand. And now now with that, it's his turn. After you tried to stab at him, he's going to take your rapier and he's going to take it and he's going to try to bash you in the side of the head with it.
Dang.
Unnatural 20.
That hits.
Okay. He takes this rapier, and after he rips it out of your grip, you're so shocked that you don't see it. You're so shocked that in this moment, he totally blindsides you, and he smashes this across your face, and across the left side of your head, it flashes past, and there's a cut on the side of your face, and you're seeing stars. This was a hard hit. You take 5 damage.
All right.
Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay. With that, I'm just like, what the,
Like, God. I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, basically.
And he yells that after he hits you, and he's like, "Take that, bitch!" And he smashes you across the face.
Reina, she's just kind of shakes it off and kind of collects herself. And she's like, I didn't want to have to do this. But she reaches behind her back. And, by the way, guys, she has a halberd.
Oh, no.
And she has it on her back.
How big is a halberd?
Pretty big.
It's really big.
Like, how big is it in comparison to the rest of her body? 5 feet? Oh, gosh. So this is longer than your arm. This is a good, like...
Yeah, it's a two-handed weapon.
It's a heavy sword.
Okay, so this is a thick boy sword.
It's not a sword.
What is it?
Did I say sword?
Yeah.
It's like a spear with an axe.
It's a...
on the end.
Pole arm, basically.
Oh!
It's a type of pull arm.
I see. It's like if a spear was an axe.
Yes.
But they do have like a spear point at the end.
Yes. Okay, I see what that is. Wow, that's how big is this blade? Is it a good chunk blade?
It's pretty, yeah.
Okay, so you take this off your back. What you gonna do?
I'm gonna, like, hold it with both hands in a stance. And be like, I'm trying to think.
I'm done being
What's a
nice.
clever thing to say? Oh no, I got it.
Oh, man.
If you're gonna play dirty, then I will. And I try to, like, not with the blade, but like the bottom part of the pole arm, I try to like hit him down in the chest.
Okay, roll.
God! Do I have anything?
What'd you roll?
Yes! I have great weapon fighting!
Oh, nice.
When you roll a 1 or 2 on a damage die for an attack you make with a melee weapon that you are wielding with 2 hands, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll, even if the new roll is 1 or 2.
Okay, roll.
Okay. Does a 15 hit?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
What's your damage?
Let me see.
Okie dokie. So you take this pole arm and you pull it off of your back and you take the blunt end and you strike down into the very center of his chest and you feel a crunch. And not the good kind of crunch. Well, not usually there isn't a very good kind of crunch, but this is a bad crunch. And his chest just collapses where you hit him. And the pirate stops moving. He's dead.
Oh, you just wrecked him.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely eviscerated.
So you basically collapsed his chest and he's dead and you have 1 combat.
I'm actually.
Oh,
And then,
no.
and then the trumpets like in the like what would be like da 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 da. It's like da 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 because you just kind of murdered someone. It wasn't self-defense, but like it was a pretty gruesome way to kill someone, collapsing their rib cage.
Yeah.
Anyway, you hear Merrick behind you go, "Excellent work, Officer Stonebreaker. I couldn't have done it better myself." And then Aiden. So you've been kind of watching this happen for a little while, right? From the behind, like trying to keep a distance, but you're like scouting up the dreadnought. You're like watching it. You're getting kind of closer to it on the dreadnought side. And some guy comes out from, someone tackles you from behind. Can you make a strength check?
Are they grappling?
They're going to full body tackle you,
Oh,
so.
just strength check. Well, that's a
No,
6.
I'm just gonna say no, it doesn't. And you are pushed onto the ground. This guy's got his head on the back of his hand is on the back of your head. You are being pushed face first into the dirt. And he ties your hands behind your back and he lifts you up onto his shoulder. And this is a huge dude. And he starts dead sprinting towards the sanctuary. And you just see the ground and a butt, and like you're like hanging over his shoulder, and he just dead sprints you onto the ship. Hunter, your character hears Merrick laughing maniacally throughout combat, and you look past him and you see a very large person carrying a Triton on their shoulder running onto a pirate ship. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna use my reaction to run after them.
Oh, combat's over.
I'm gonna run after them.
Okay. Do you say anything to your captain?
Peace up.
Merrick, I'm on hot pursuit.
Like, what? Why?
Badass is running away.
Oh, it's the little fish person. I'm right behind you, Stonebreaker. And he starts like he's got like his hands at like the fin. You know how people when they run, they have their hands straight out instead of a fist? He's doing that. He is fucking booking it after you. Big ass bloodlust grin on his face. And you are like booking it towards the ship. So this big figure gets onto the ship and you guys follow him onto it as well. Lexi, your character's still on the SS Sanctuary.
Yeah.
And Blaine and you are being held at sword point by the pirates on there. And Blaine gets, when all the fight breaks out, Blaine, after he gets tripped, gets pushed off the ship. You're about to get pushed off. So these guys are threatening you, and then you see this huge figure get onto this ship, this massive person. They're about 8 feet tall. Like, this person is fucking built. Like, if a car hit them, the car would break. Kind of built. Muscular, tall, tan, tons of tattoos with hair down their back in a long, dark braid, and a very, like, cavalier smile on their face. This is Captain Joe of the Sanctuary. Captain Joe takes Colnus. Captain Joe takes Colnus and throws him to the blue dragonborn that we heard about earlier in the story that you guys haven't seen. And the dragonborn looks, and Joe goes, "Hey, Pierce, I got a present for you," and throws over, you go flying through the air. And so there's these two big people that are just like, you get thrown, and Pierce goes, "What?" And then he catches it, and he's like, "Joe, no!" And he catches it, and he's like, and he looks at you, and he goes, "Hi?" Lexi, your character's at sword point, and being held at sword point by this Khajiit, very, very tall, skinny Khajiit. And says, "Hello."
What?
Not Khajiit, Sebastian.
Sebastian.
God. Yeah. Sorry.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
I'm talking fast, all right? All right, this held at sword point by the Sebastian. He goes, "Why, hello. It would appear that our little meeting didn't go as well, and you're not going anywhere."
Okay.
Yeah. They think that you called the cops. That's why this is like your ship called the cops or something like that. So they're holding you at point. You're not allowed off. Blaine has been thrown off the ship because he was a threat. You're not a threat. You're small and blue.
I'm gonna kill
So,
You
so you and Merrick, Raina and Merrick go to the ship. The ship is deporting. After Joe got back on the ship, she's like, "All right, let's set sail. Let's get going." And then the plank that goes up to the ship is basically just pushed off the ship and is dropped. And so you and Merrick got to figure out how to get on this boat. So they're pulling up the anchor, and you're like, "Wait, they're pulling up the anchor." So you and Merrick are going
I
to...
jumped down onto.
Yeah. So you and Merrick are gonna. Merrick is just like, "Good idea, Stonebreaker," and then you both jump onto the anchor, and as it's coming up and try to get onto the ship. So the ship is leaving port. None of the rest of your platoon is able to get on this boat because they're still fighting the pirates on the Dreadnought, and so everybody's on the boat. And so you see a very peculiar ragtag group of individuals that you, living in Norcliffe all your life, you have, even though you've seen some of the more degenerates of your town, it's never been people like this. You're not even sure what half of these things are, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So there is the large one who had the prince over his shoulder, over her shoulder, and yeah, Colnus. I don't know why your name is so hard to remember. All the other ones are so easy.
It's Colin and us.
Yeah, Colnus.
Colin is Colnus.
Yeah.
It's just
Anyway, Fishboy is, you see Fishboy in the arms of what appears to be an anthropomorphic dragon on legs with very dark, with dark blue scales and glowing yellow eyes and a very surprised look on their face. You see the one who had taken the prince in the first place, this massive 8 foot tall. You think you're a jacked lesbian? You'd be surprised because this woman puts you to fucking shame. Like, she could bench press 7 of you, kind of perspective.
I am confused and horny.
I'm confused and aroused. She's got a big ass grin on her face, like everything is going to plan. I'm having the time of my fucking life right now, and she's got a vest on, and it's like bare chest, and she's got huge tan arms with like tattoos of like sharp, jagged rocks all the way going down, and like random like designs that are very jagged and strange. There's tons of scars covering her entire body. There's one going straight down her lips, and you can't tell, you don't know what she is. She looks like a human, but she also looks like an orc because she's got pointed ears and small tusks, but she doesn't look like any orc you've ever seen before. And orcs don't usually have that color of eyes, and her eyes are very piercing blue. So I'm just going to go and describe all the different NPCs because I think this could be fun. Let me get my list out. You see a tabaxi and a water genasi at the edge of the ship, and the tabaxi is pointing a curved sword toward curved sword towards the water genasi, and very head tilt, very laid back, graceful attitude, as if this person is not a threat, but they are definitely threatening them. You see, who else would be on top of the ships? And then you see what appears to be a dwarf. They look like a dwarf, but you've never really met a dwarf before. You just kind of know what they look like, so you think this is a dwarf. He is way shorter than you are. He's about 4.5 feet tall, stocky. Like, he's not ripped, but he's very barrel-shaped, like a very solid kind of guy with black hair pulled back into a knot in the back of his head, and a very short beard and like very thick eyebrows and a very plain scowl on his face. And he has a large hammer, and he's holding it out and looking at you. And so
concerned.
all of these people on this boat are all looking at you. You are outnumbered and outsized.
Oh, and Raina's smart enough to know not to fight.
Yeah. Captain Merrick might not be.
I know.
So Captain Merrick goes, he gets onto the boat with you, and he goes, "There's the prince! Ah, these filthy half-breeds! Oh, the bane of my existence!" And he lunges at what appears, what the tabaxi, the cat person, is to the side, and tries to strike them. And this cat person is like, "Oh, okay," and dodges out of the way. You get kind of thrown onto the side of the deck. You're fine. You're not being thrown off the ship, but you have definitely been knocked down, Lexi's character. And Merrick misses and then crashes headfirst into some barrels on the side of the boat deck. And everybody kind of just looks at him like, excuse, like, what? Because he just kind of came up and immediately insulted them and was racist, and then ran at one of the cat and ran at somebody.
And if the crew members, if they look back at Raina, she would just be looking at Merrick and kind of like, I don't know what to do, but he's with me.
They kind of like, and you're just kind of like have a lost look on your face. They look back, and then you hear, and so after that happens, the very large, what could possibly maybe be an orc, she says, "Well, he's fun. Welcome aboard the SS Sanctuary. It's nice to meet you. Maybe. We'll see." And in the middle of this whole, like, "Hello, I'm Captain Joe. It's very nice to meet you," kind of Devilier speech, you hear laughing coming from the barrels. All of you do, who are on the boat. Like, Lexi, you look up and you see, when you fell down, you saw at the barrels in that direction, and you saw a little pink horn poking out. And you were kind of like, you didn't really register it, but you saw it, and then the big dude crashed into it. Merrick is not as big as Raina, but like almost that level. Like, he's taller than you, but he's not as jacked as you are.
Yeah.
So he's just like one of those, like, yeah, police officer
Yeah.
kind of guys. And you hear laughing coming from the barrels, and you see Merrick, your captain, Captain Nicholas Merrick of the Norcliffe Port Militia, the most upstanding man you've ever met. He might be a little thick-headed, but he's always been lawful in your eyes. And he's holding what appears to be a small pink child with a horn. You see Merrick, and he's laughing. He's like, "I've got you now, pirates!" And he's holding this tiefling, small tiefling child by the back of their neck, and has a dagger pointed directly to their, like, the jugular of their throat. He's like, "All of you are gonna back off right now, or the little one gets it." Like,
Captain.
and he's just like, "Stonebreaker, you don't understand. These kinds of people, they don't listen to reason. They aren't lawful. They don't even belong in our town, let alone this country. So all of you are going to back down. You're going to set this ship right back to the cliff, and you are all going to jail. You're going to hang for your crimes. Or the little one gets it."
Captain, I don't think we need to take such extreme measures.
"Stonebreaker, you have always been soft. This is what the militia does. And so he's pressing the
This
throat.
isn't what we do.
I mean,
It's like, this is what we've always done. And he presses the knife a little bit closer to this small child's throat. This child is like absolutely terrified. Tears are streaming down their face, eyes wide, not making a noise. Like they're like gripping at the hand at the back of their neck, but they can't get free. They're small. They're like pathetically tiny. And you hear, so the Dragonborn who is holding the prince goes, "Whoa, hey! There's no need for that. That's not one of ours." It's like, "Sure it's not, pirate. Oh, you bag of scales, you make me sick."
Pirate or not, it's a kid.
It's like, "I don't deal with pirates or demons." And he's going to stab the child. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna run towards him and try to knock him down before he can do anything.
Okay, so he's paying attention to the rest of the crew, all these half-breed.
Are my hands free? Like,
No, they're tied behind your back.
okay. Yeah.
Your legs are free,
I was
and you
like,
can talk. So this basically what's
I can't
happening
make
right
somatic components.
Yeah, what's happening with you right now is you are being kind of like bridal style carried by this dragonborn who's just kind of like holding you because you got thrown to him, and he's just like, when he was like hi, but now all this stuff is happening, so he hasn't let you go, so he's just holding you like kind of like bridal style. So that's how you're seeing
I'm
it.
gonna be like, unbind my hand.
Merrick is like ranting and raving at these pirates and saying a lot of very inappropriate slurs at all of them, and threatening to kill this child unless the pirates turn themselves in and go back to port. And what in the middle of this, you rush over and you fucking tackle him. Like, because he is about, you can tell, like in this moment you were moving towards him, he is getting ready, he like pulls the knife back and he gets ready to stab this child. Because he's fucking, and you can tell he's gonna fucking do it. So you tackle him. And you push him to the ground, and the child falls out of Merrick's grasp and hits the deck with a whimper. And Merrick goes, "Stonebreaker, what are you doing?"
This isn't what we do.
This is
We are meant to protect the people.
Yeah! Emphasis on people! These aren't people! They're animals! Get off of me!
Not until you take that back.
Take it back.
It's like, so he takes his hands. You're stronger than he is, muscle-wise, but he's a big guy, and he uses that leverage, and he pushes you off of him, and he goes to swing at you with his fists. What do you do? We're not in combat, per se. We're just going to go.
Okay, this is just like roleplay combat.
Yes.
What has gotten into you?
It's like, nothing! I'm just doing my job! Cleaning up the filth! And he swings at you. Obviously something that you weren't ready for! And he tries to swing at you again.
And like, I'm not responding to his punches. I'm just trying to like dodge out of his way
Okay.
while still like facing him.
And it's something that if you can't understand, then you aren't a part of the Norcliffe militia. And he tries to go for a right hook. I'm assuming you dodge out of the way.
Yes.
And in dodging out of the way, he is off balance and he topples over the side of the ship. Not screaming, but he's yelling. He's like, "No!" And he like, you hear a psh, like a splash in the water.
I run over to the side, and I, like, as a reaction, I'm like, "Captain!" And I'm basically looking over, watching him fall.
So he lands into the water, and you see his head, you run over to the side, and you see his head break the surface, and he goes, "That's it, Stonebreaker! You're going down with them! If you want to protect these degenerates and animals, fine!" And so he starts, he sinks into the ocean, and he's fine, don't worry, he's just swimming away. So now you're on this boat, no captain, with a bunch of pirates,
No cap.
and a prince.
Raina turns around,
Howdy.
Yeah?
and she's looking, kind of surveying everyone.
Scared and confused.
You're looking what?
I'm just surveying everyone.
And you hear, so you look around and Captain Joe goes, "Well, that was dramatic. Always something that's fun on the sanctuary, day-to-day kind of thing, nothing new. Well, good work, everybody. We did what we came for. Take the people who are not our people and tie them up and put them in the bottom of the boat, because I got stuff to do right now. And so the tabaxi is going to start coming towards you.
Wait, what? No. I'm not a threat to you. I promise.
Of course, darling, you're not a threat to me. You never were.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. As you saw, we can,
Your stumbling is cute, darling, but I'm running out of time. And so the tabaxi, they rush at you.
Okay.
And
I'm like, wait, stop.
They're not stopping.
Just,
And so you might be big and strong and fast.
I was about to turn myself in.
It's like,
I'm not gonna fight.
okay, well, then I guess in the middle of them rushing you, you probably were like, all right, I surrender, I surrender. And they're like,
I'm like, okay, yeah.
and they go, good. And then they push you down and tie your hands behind your back.
After they do that, I'm gonna look around for the tiefling child.
The tiefling child is being held by the dwarf. The dwarf went over and picked them up. They are kind of freaking out. But the dwarf is being very gentle. Like, the dwarf doesn't have his hammer out anymore, and he's just like trying to calm it down. But the dwarf is very obviously not able to speak whatever this child can speak, and takes them.
Yeah.
You see them being taken into the door leading inside of the boat.
Okay, well, Rainan's relieved.
Lexi, your character is just kind of there on the side of the ship, and you see a guy come up from the bottom of the ship. It's Wilford Abernathy. He comes up from the ship, and he's like, "What's going on? What's all the commotion?" And he's like, looks around. Ah, great, just great, perfect day. You couldn't have been done better, Joe. This is a great day. I love it so much. And he looks at you and he's like, you, get over here. Yeah, the blue one.
I run over.
He's like, all right, come with me. And he takes you down to the deck. He's not tying your hands up. He's just like, all right, he recognized you and he was like, all right, obviously some shit went down. You're just come with me. You go down the deck. Yeah, it's just like, shut up. And so the tabaxi like pushes you up to get up on your feet, is like, all right, it's time to have some fun. And you get led towards where the rest of the group is. While this is happening, Aiden, your character is just still being bridal style carried by this dragonborn who is just kind of like, well, that was, I have to say, not the weirdest thing I've seen. And he looks at you and he's like, nice to meet you. Name's Davin Pierce. Why are you here? He's like, he has no idea what the fuck he's holding you, or who you are, or even what's happening, because Joe doesn't tell anybody shit.
The only thing that he can see on my face is scared and confused.
Scared and confused. I can work with that. And so he's like, Joe, what is this?
It is a human being.
It is like, it is a prince. It is a very important prince.
Wink, wink.
Money, Davin. It's like, you couldn't have told me this? Like, before we got to the port? Are you kidding me? I thought we were just... I went to the temple. I got the box. I came back from the temple and I put down the box. That's all you told me to do. And now I'm holding a Triton prince, by the way, on a boat filled with people who do not belong on the boat. Joe, what is wrong with you? Like, there's nothing wrong with me. You've always known that. Anyway, could you take him into the below deck? Actually, do you think you could take him to Polly. I think she could. She has an idea on what to deal with him. You didn't have any idea what you were doing with him? Details. I will figure something out. Joe, one of these days, I'm going to die. And I'll be happy about it.
Tries to scream, but God gave me no voice.
And the Dragonborn takes you and looks at you and he's like, yeah, this sucks. And he takes you below decks. And so
Sucks to suck.
now it's Reyna is like taken. You're kind of pushed by this tabaxi down into the lower decks, and I think we're gonna stop there for now. Thank you.
I wanted to
think
come
we'll
in so many times and just
put
like
off the
blast
audio.
these people.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about fucking Crane. Reyna, when Reyna surveyed and first got tied up and you guys were all getting pushed in, the door that everyone was going through opens and fucking the weirdest thing you've ever seen just kind of walks for Reyna has not seen a lot. Walks through the door, which is now glowing by the way, and out steps a very white elf. Maybe.
I thought we can't see his face.
Yeah, you're saying elf maybe. You don't know what this is, but it's tall and slender and white. Like, not like white person.
Okay, the arms.
Like, white. And you're just kind of like, the fuck? And everybody kind of looks at Greg and goes, the fuck? And Greg's character is like, the fuck?
I didn't mean to come here.
And you kind of just like, or like, Greg's character looks around and goes,
I turn around and try and walk through the door.
yeah, you're like, okay. And you turn around and you open the door and you walk through it, but you just end up going down to the next. And so that's that. And then all the other stuff that I said happens.
Alright.
And then we'll stop there. Okay. Sorry, Greg. You'll have more to do next session, trust me.